Women have been part of the Secret Service since 1971. All agents, male or female, must meet the same standards to join the force, although women candidates have different physical fitness requirements. So there was a controversial photo that circulated, which you guys will see in this video. So we'll stop in mid, but let's see what they had to say.
Bro, I know the meme is that everyone says women can't take accountability. But the female head of the Secret Service is really on fucking TV telling Americans that she's done nothing wrong and that it's not her fault that the fucking president got shot. That's your job. And any man in your position would stand up and take absolute accountability and say he was wrong and resign and admit his mistakes. You're standing up there going, well, that roof was sloped and it wasn't my job. Who gives these fucking people power? Who gives these people power? They have no fucking humility. The hubris they operate under is disgusting. And if President Trump was dead right now, there'd be a civil war undertaken in America. And she'd be sitting in her fucking chair on her fat ass saying, well, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do it. The roof was sloped. Who the fuck is this bimbo? Unbelievable. Let me tell you all the reality of female privilege. Because we're living in the time of female privilege, not male privilege. Because a lot is expected of men, and we're expected to perform. And if we do not perform, the world has no mercy. Women have no mercy on us when we fail to perform, and other men have no mercy on us when we fail to perform. Tell your wife you can't pay the bills. She'll be like, why? You're the husband. Pay the bills. It's your job. What do you mean you have no money? Go get some money then. Tell your boss you can't do the job anymore because you're sad. You get fired. But female privilege is being told they can do everything better than a man can do while getting endless benefit of the doubt every time they fail. If male Secret Service agents hid behind a bulletproof glass as opposed to jumping on the president, I would argue not only would they be fired and publicly shamed, we would know their names, we would know their records, we would know how they got into the Secret Service in the first place. They would likely be facing criminal charges. However, these women, we haven't been told who they are. Nobody knows their names. They're not going to lose their jobs. They'll continue to do security details, and we forgive them. We forgive them. If you're going to have the benefit of the doubt all the times you make mistakes, while also claim you're better than men at everything, then that is a huge cheat code to life. That's female privilege, because males are held ultimately accountable, and females are not held accountable. Typically, when you're not held accountable for something, you're not given responsibility over it. Accountability and responsibility are linked. The reason you complain at the captain when the ship crashes is because he's responsible for what happens on the ship. He is accountable and responsible. If the captain gives orders and everyone on the ship ignores him, you cannot hold him accountable if the ship crashes because he wasn't responsible for the actions on the ship. Women get to go through life with no accountability. We're handing them responsibility because they want it, because they do it better than us. But if it goes wrong, I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. Well, if you're just a girl, don't fly planes. If you're just a girl, don't be in the Secret Service. You can either do it or you can't. I don't know if the women themselves have been deluded into believing they can do it, and then when shit hits the fan, it turns out they can't. I don't know if they're psyoped also. But society as a whole will be better if we return to our roles. Men protect and provide, women nurture and care. This allows us to be more competitive. It allows everyone to be happier. There's not a female alive who's ever going to jump in front of a bullet for anybody. She's going to piss her panties and hide. And us pretending that she will is on us. That makes us dummies for psyoping these women into believing they would jump in front of bullets when they know they wouldn't, we know they wouldn't, and we're trying to please the diversity god. The diversity god in the sky. Some brown, mixed-race motherfucker like me sitting down going, oh no, can't have white men protect Trump. Why not? Why not? They can do the job, can't they? Why can't we just go back to an era of competence and capability? Female privilege is everywhere. You see it all the time. Oh, I want to drive it. In my personal life, I want to drive this car. I want to fly plane, da-da-da. As soon as they make a mistake, oh, well, I'm a girl. You can't pull that card out if you want to do the hard shit. So I saw at Trump's next outing he has an all-male security team. I also noticed Putin has an all-male security team. I think we should stick to all-male security teams. Our security team's 25 deep. How many women work for us? 0. Because they can't protect us. So This diversity hire bullshit is getting out of control. And at risk of sounding misogynistic, women panic under pressure. That's what they do. Men don't panic under pressure as easily. So in a scenario where bullets might fly or planes might crash, etc., where pressure might appear, I think we'd all know deep down in our hearts that we want a man in charge.
So this was the photo that was circulating around when shots rang out at Trump. This is the photo that sparked the controversy.
After Secret Service Barbie, a highly trained member of the Secret Service, removes her weapon from its holster for the very first time in her career. She struggles to return her pea shooter as though it's her first day on the job. Fortuitously, her skills from a previous life as an amateur actress come into play, allowing her to convincingly mimic the swift draw of the weapon and scan the horizon for threats. Chewing her gum nonchalantly, she attempts to exude a tactical demeanor, reminiscent of a fusion between the Blues Brothers and Rosie O'Donnell. Despite her efforts, our agent's attempt to return her wireless hole punch to its home results in another failure. While she may have faltered at this most basic of tasks, she certainly looked cool while doing it.
Shout out to every one of those motherfucking Secret Service agents who dives on top of Big Donald Trump. Respect to each and every one of you. That was some G shit.
They were too slow.
That's those guys. Oh, okay, fine. I mean,
They were too slow.
yeah, okay, they were slow, but they still dived on top of him. One didn't. What did she have that was different from the rest of them? There was something different.
Supposedly.
There was something different between all the dudes who jumped on him and that one chick who didn't. What was it?
Well, here's the world we now live in. So I don't want to keep ranting about females, but the point is we're now living in a world where they are forcing you to accept women at every level. And women are stuck in this very difficult conundrum, gentlemen. It's hard to be a chick, right? Because we're putting them into male spaces where they have to compete with men, where they can't. They can't Secret Service as good as a man. They can't do a job, no matter what it is, as good as a man.
Police, farm.
They build, you name it. They can't do anything as good as men, besides have kids. So forcing them into male spaces is actually unfair, because when you put a woman in a male space, she just becomes a short, emotional,
weak man.
Weak, usually broke man. By females' own standards that they hold for men they date, 99.9% of women are short, weak, and broke. So if they were men, they'd be hated by women themselves. So they can't compete with men directly, but they don't want to be excluded from the decimation they face by competing with men directly, because then they think that it's a patriarchy, it's unfair.
Yeah,
so they say, we want to do that too. And we say, guys, just let us do it. You just stay home and have kids. No, we want to do that. Cool. We're going to let you in with the men now. Then you lose. There's a reason you have to have your own sports. There's a reason you have to have all your own shit. Listen, I don't hate women. I'm just a realist. And these women shouldn't be in the fucking Secret Service. But like I said, we can't tell them that. It's the patriarchy. So we have to say, okay, come on, bimbos. And then we know they can't do it as well as men. They know they can't. Everyone knows it. But we're not supposed to say it. We have to sit there and go, she's just as good. She's a real fierce one as this chick.
She passed the training.
She's a real fierce chick.
She did 13 push-ups.
Fuck the patriarchy. Bruv. When shit hits the fan, she'll piss her little fucking panties.
I stop it there. You can take a picture.
Okay. Wow. So he had me up until where he said men don't panic under pressure. Like, with great power comes great responsibility, whether you're a man or a woman, right? I do think that women who are taking on roles such as the Secret Service need to not, like, you're a Secret Service agent. You're not a man or a woman at that point. Your duty and obligation should be to the job that you decided to, that role that you decided to fulfill. The problem is people don't know themselves and they're not real with themselves. And make it seem as though like all women are created equal. There are women that can do Secret Service positions. There are women that can be firefighters. There are women that can be police officers. I think it's crazy as hell. Yeah, that was crazy. She's obviously not one of those women, right? And I honestly can't take anyone seriously who would hire an overweight Secret Service officer. She's already betrayed herself. She's not in shape. Like it's levels to this. This country is comical at this point. But aside from like the woman hating rhetoric, the like that stuff making it seem as though everyone's created equal and that there aren't any women that are capable of doing those things, I agree. I definitely believe in equity over equality all day. Bring the value that you bring, but be real with yourself. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, he did say that men don't panic under pressure usually. And I would assume that he's speaking for like if the job specific, for instance, being a Secret Service agent means taking a bullet. Like that's part of the job description. You're supposed to take a bullet. So if you have 10, if you lined up 10 Secret Service agent men, probably 9 out of the 10 men would be willing to take that bullet. But by his logic, what he's saying is if you lined up 10 Secret Service agent women, out of the 10 of them, maybe only 5 of them will be willing to take the bullet, which makes for a worse outcome for the person who's about to get, for the person that's supposed to be getting protected. So he's just saying usually, and that's mostly within those trained positions. So like if you thrust a woman into like a construction and the building starts to collapse, you know what I mean? You're less likely to see the construction working men panic under that pressure than you would see the women panic under that pressure. That's all he was saying. Is that the reason there's a reason why men take on majority of the dangerous jobs in the world.
So that's just.
But that's also the reason why we die long. That's the reason why our life expectancy is lower. Also, we are also more likely to take risk than women are. We are most likely to hit something head on than to look for help. We're more likely to be the help.
Go ahead, Allie.
Oh, Sweeney clarified it. I was saying, is that speaking to mostly laborious jobs? Because from my experience, I've majority of executive leadership and C-suite level people are well over 70% men, typically white men, and I've seen them lose it so many times, and the accountability is not there. I see it all the time. Like I can't even count how many times I've seen it. So I don't know what he's talking about when he says that if we're speaking to that regard, not laborious jobs. I don't know. And it also feels a bit contradictory because it's like, if that's the case, we do have these white men running everything. It's like you're complaining about something that you already created yourself. You're already running it. Like, what are you talking about? You're already up there. And then the part that he really lost me was when he started, like, was it necessary to start saying bimbos and chicks? Like, that's not cool. No.
Yeah, that's the hyperbole, man. That's the disrespect in the entertainment portion of it. That's where he loses people.
Yeah.
Up until that point,
that was foul to me.
Right. Up until that point, people were following, okay, I can see your point, but then that's the portion of it where people are offended. But to him, that's comedy. That's me being hyperbolic.
What's interesting to me from my perspective is that maybe not those same words. I've heard those exact same adjectives used down to women in those executive leadership C-suite positions. Similar but different, and it's a delicate dance of how to confront that because most men are not prepared for that accountability. So it's weird for him to say that women aren't taking accountability because I see it the opposite. Anytime a woman messes up in those higher position roles, she's actually a sacrificial lamb and has the target on her back at that point. Versus you can have, I've literally had a CEO over my shoulder, not paying attention to a meeting, showing me a Yeti cup that he got from his wife. And he was okay to behave that way in a very global call and no accountability whatsoever, right? And he was able to get away with it and abuse it. So it's just like, it's wild to me, all the things that he said from the lens that I see it from.
All right. Go ahead, Chanel.
Well, I have 2 points, but I don't understand why men have an issue with women being in these type of jobs and roles. When, I mean, I hope I don't offend anyone in this, but I feel like men is like public enemy number one. They want to come into our space. They want to come into a woman's space. They want to dress like us. They want to, they want to be in our, sports. They want to do all of this, but a woman can't do, like, you see what I'm saying? So that's one thing. And second, I don't believe at all that was a real assassination. I feel sorry for that lady. She probably was the only one that didn't know what was happening, and she was just ducking because she didn't know if it was real or not either. But I don't think that was real either. I think it was all planned, period. Because I just don't understand. If you're protecting the president or the former president of the United States, to be exact, like, why would you have time to let him stand up and put his arm up? If that was Barack Obama, you're not going to see him no more at all. Gone. Get him out the way and then come back and see what's going on. But they stopped and let him put his arm up. It was all planned. So I'm kind of off on this one. I don't believe it at all. And I feel like that the lady just taking a fall because she looked goofy as hell.
I mean, she should be taking a fall. It was her responsibility to protect him. Instead of ducking over him, she was ducking behind them. Like, she looked goofy as hell. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
She wasn't doing her job. She made, I can't say she made women look different because we don't share the same hue. However, you don't know yourself, sis. Why are you in this role? If that is your first instinct, you're trained. You're supposed to be a trained weapon. Your body is a weapon. You're supposed to be protecting that man. Like, yeah, it's not in our nature as a woman to protect. But if you are signing up to be a Secret Service agent,
look at her face, yo. It's like,
also, I think what he's speaking to, as far as the accountability aspect of it, is that in this particular situation, right? Your job is to protect the president. You're the head of the Social Security. You're the director of the Social Security team. I mean, the Secret Service team. And he gets shot. And the first thing you say is not my fault. That's not how you're supposed, like, in that position, you're supposed to say, hey, we messed up. There were some things that we did that was wrong. Right. We slipped up. You know what I mean? You don't go out there and say, man, I did everything right, man. It wasn't my fault, and the roof was kind of slanted, and it was kind of like, that's not how the head of the Secret Service is supposed to handle that situation. Now, I think what he's referring to is the defense of her. Is that, oh man, she, like, ain't nothing wrong with what she said. Like, no, if we did watch any man go up there and make an excuse like that, it ain't my fault. We did everything right, and the president got shot, we wouldn't be giving him grace. There wouldn't be no grace given to that man.